Speaking of data, reveals Missourians tried to make more than 11 million sports wagers since football season opened, but could not do so, all because it remains illegal.
It comes as voters are already deciding on Amendment 2, which would create legal sports betting market in the state. Missouri Capitol Bureau Chief Joe McLean has more.
The big selling point to legalizing sports betting in the state of Missouri is a 10% tax on all that gambling revenue, much of it promised to go to education. Now, supporters of this amendment say that's going to be a great new funding source for K-12 schools, but opponents are more skeptical it'll send any money to classrooms at all. Missouri's Amendment 2 empowers the State Gaming Commission to start handing out sports betting licenses. It limits participation to those 21 and older and imposes a 10% tax on the revenue generated by the gambling. The state auditor's office estimates it'll generate anywhere from $0 to $29 million a year for the state. But supporters of the amendment say it's highly unlikely to be zero, pointing to recent data showing more than 11 million attempted bets were placed in Missouri since the beginning of football season.
And it shows the amount of missed opportunity Missourians have here. Obviously, 38 states have now legalized sports betting, including 7 of our 8 neighbors. So Missouri really is the outlier.
Jack Cardetti is a spokesperson for Winning for Missouri Education, the campaign behind the sports betting push. The amendment divides up that 10% gambling revenue, with the first $5 million or 10%, whichever is greater, going to provide help for compulsive gamblers in the state. After covering some administrative costs, the rest of the tax revenue is earmarked for K-12 and higher education.
This is going in the Constitution, so the money has to go to education.
But others say Amendment 2 contains massive loopholes and lacks clarification on key points.
A lot of that would be left to the legislature, which could use new funding instead of the traditional funding it has used. So there's no guarantee that schools would see any increased funding at all.
Ultimately, the amendment is expected to pass, with the state's major sports franchises and high-profile Republicans and Democrats behind it. Roughly half of likely voters told St. Louis University and YouGov they are planning to mark yes on their ballot. 30% said they're a no vote. 21% said they're unsure. In Jefferson City, Joe McLean, WGEM News.